talk about why AI implementation projects fail. What are the root causes? What can go wrong and why does it go wrong? Because I think there is a little bit of a misunderstanding, and very often we blame technology to be too complex or leadership not being able to communicate well, but it is deeper. This is Connect the Dots, the AI Impact Podcast. I'm Christoph Burkhardt. Welcome to the show. It is a very interesting field to look at AI implementation from the lens of the ultimate users of the AI as compared to the decision makers, the leaders usually who want the benefits of AI. And so the implementation happens over these two players, which are the users on one side and leadership on one side. And in the middle of that game is very often an IT department that has the operational job of implementing the AI system. And interesting, now different things happen between these players. And there is one major factor that contributes to AI projects failing, and that's trust. Now, if you dissect how trust is being built or destroyed, it very often comes down to the user at the end not trusting that the goals that leadership had to implement an AI system were aligned with their interests, were in their interests at all. But there is an economic incentive, there is a business incentive for leadership to make a decision to bring an AI tool or several tools, a system into a company. And then for the users to use that system, they get trained. And then IT in the middle of that game is simply there to implement. So they take whatever business leadership is telling them, implement it, and then often they have the job to also train the users on how to use it, but the users themselves are not implementing. And that is one crucial aspect of why AI implementation is so different from usual software projects. Because one, it's a learning system. Usually it needs to be fed over time. It becomes smarter over time. And if the end users are not involved in the implementation, they often distrust the intentions of the whole project. And what that leads to, interestingly, is at the maximum, at the highest level, it becomes sabotage. Because if I don't trust that my intentions are heard, that my interests are aligned with the business goals I'm in, because I'm fearing that my job might be replaced or something is overshadowing my work, or someone is looking at my work and AI might be looking at what I'm doing the entire time and starts controlling me. If I have these kinds of fears, then distrust in whatever the system does becomes a real problem because it leads to sabotage at the maximum, or at least massive resistance. And now in the course of the implementation, AI as a decision, the first thing that is often a mistake is when the goals are not, there are two sides. So the goals are not clearly communicated or not transparently communicated by leadership. Meaning, if you want an AI system to succeed in the implementation process, you have to give leadership the opportunity to completely and transparently explain what the actual goals are. And if it's hard to explain because there might not be aligned with the interests of the end users, that has to be communicated too. So one major block of building that trust is full-on transparency from the beginning of the project, meaning from the moment that leadership has decided they want the system all the way to users starting to use it. You need that kind of transparency. That's one major building block. And then the other thing that happens, and that's the IT department, is that often they implement in the back room, all by themselves, without any oversight, without any instructions, because leadership doesn't know how to implement. So they implement. Users don't know how they implement. They just use the system. And so the IT department does something basically like building a black box. And what I've seen with projects and clients where this is done in a better way that succeeds and has a higher success rate and does not make the project fail is when the end users of the benefits of AI are involved in the implementation process. And of course, you can add to that by having the business goals that are transparently communicated very much aligned with what is being implemented and what is and being implemented with the users in mind and the users at the table. Designing around a user creates distrust. Creating with the user is what creates trust. So they need to be sitting at the table the moment the implementation starts. And they need to know that these are the goals, and this is who implements it and why and how. And then this is how we're going to use it. And another thing that shifts if you get the users involved in the implementation process is that they create ownership for the system themselves. So they will take care better of the system, of the tools, of the data that needs to come in. They will make sure that this is functional and stays efficient because they feel like we implemented this and to our benefit, to higher goals of the business, which helps us save our jobs. So the level of trust is in AI projects often a crucial factor, more crucial than in software implementation projects generally, because there is a level of distrust already with AI systems. And that's a fair distrust because AI does way more than usual software packages do. And we have to address those fears and doubts and concerns from the beginning and not wait to the end. So two major factors. One, very, very transparent goals and targets, clearly communicated, transparent to all stakeholders, and then the involvement of the user in the entire implementation process. That's how you succeed with an AI implementation project, and that's what we all need to try to do, which also one thing that comes out of this, if you do it right, is that not only your AI implementation succeeds, but it's also you automatically create systems that are more aligned with the interests of all stakeholders, meaning you get not only more acceptance, but you also get more benefit.